What's going on, everyone? Welcome into the Sunday Reset here on Forward Progress, presented by Fanduel. I'm Rob Pizzola, coming fresh off of, it's not final yet. 30 seconds left in the game, but for all intents and purposes, Texans win at Kansas City, which capped a roller coaster of a day for me. But second week in a row, got a big win on Sunday Night Football, so I'm jacked to recap it. You guys know the drill. We're going to zoom out on today. We'll separate signal from noise. We'll call out surprises, what we nailed, what we missed, key coaching calls, injuries that shaped this week in the NFL. Then we flip it forward. We'll run through the Week 15 openers, give our thoughts on each game, and we'll talk through where we expect the market to go. I see a lot of chatter in the live chat about the Chiefs, in particular the Andy Reid decision. Definitely going to talk about that. If you're watching live, hit that like button in real time so more people will find this. YouTube algo loves the early likes, so if you could do that, be a big favor to us. If you're listening after the fact and you get value out of the show, make sure you're subbed here on Forward Progress. And if you're listening in audio form, rate and review 5 stars, please. But let's get into it. Joining me tonight, as always, my partner in crime for Sunday Night Football, it is Clive Bixby. Clive, how are things?
Good, man. Hey, listen, needed this Sunday night game.
Yes, so did I. Man, I had a really, really bad early window today. And then as the day went on, it just kept getting better and better. And this was a massive play for me. And we might as well just start there because it's coming fresh. Yeah. So the Chiefs got obliterated about half an hour before the game started today. Like, this moved out to 5.5 in some spots. There was a little bit of buyback to 4.5. This has kind of been a common theme for the Chiefs in recent weeks. I definitely remember the game against Denver when they took a lot of steam. It's happened, I want to say, 3 of the past 4 weeks where they've been heavily bet. I just didn't get it. Down 3 offensive linemen. Then they lose Wanya Morris, who's subbing in at left tackle. He sucks, but he's like...
But it's even worse. Like, it's just like, how much worse can it get? And we saw.
Yeah. Indy game was big steam as well. Thank you, Durso, in the chat. I don't even know. I'm still kind of like shaking because this game was crazy. And it went from feeling so good about Houston early to like, oh my God, this is not going to happen. The start of the third quarter here was a disaster. But ultimately, people are going to look back on this game and they're going to look at the decision that Andy Reid made, I want to say midway through the fourth quarter here. 4th and 1 on their own 31-yard line. I'll call it a long one. In a tie game, 10-10. With the Texans offense literally having done nothing. I was chatting in our Discord in real time. Discord.gg/hammer if you want to check it out. And it was popping off. Every single one of us that bet the Texans, and it was pretty much unanimous, wanted the Chiefs to go for it there. That's kind of how I judge in real time of whether or not I think it's a good decision or not. But as someone who felt that Houston had no chance of driving the field in this game to score points, I was overcome with joy that the Chiefs decided they were going to go for it. And then obviously getting the stop, Houston turns that into a touchdown, 20-10 final. They never look back.
Yeah, I can't necessarily kill Andy Reid, but at the same time, I think with the game flow and the way things were going, I don't think that was the spot. If you're behind, I get it. But tie game, Houston's offense in the second half was inept. I don't know how many incompletes in a row Stroud had, and I think Mahomes ended up matching him. But it was pretty bad.
Mahomes' stat line is going to look worse. He finished 14 of 33 for 160 yards and 3 interceptions. I don't know what the drop count was in this game, but it had to be at least 5 drops.
And the Kelsey one that led to a turnover, which was, granted, it wasn't the greatest throw in the world, but
yeah,
come on.
I know. I don't know how I feel about this. Listen, at the end of the day, I hate when the market moves against me as much as it did today. I'm actually ashamed to say that I bet some 3.5 in this game, 3.5, 4. I just basically kept betting numbers here because, I'm not a huge fan of playing against game day moves, but going into today, error metrics on my model were better than Pinnacle close. I'm like, at some point, I just got to trust that I'm actually making good numbers on this game. And huge home field advantage. We saw that for KC. Definitely some coaching decision that worked against them. The drops that worked against them.
They didn't execute.
They didn't execute
on offense.
Yep, I know. I just don't know what the takeaway from that game is for me. I really don't.
And I know we talked about this in our little group chat this week. In terms of like big game day steam, I don't think that record has been particularly great. I'm not saying that, I want to play against game day steam or anything, but I know I've been on the positive side of some of it, and it definitely feels like it hasn't worked out. And the Chiefs have been steamed 3 or 4 times that I could think of on game day.
Yeah, I definitely recency bias on my end as well. But if I'm Thursday night football market went against me. I like the Cowboys in that game. I lost. So that's a recent one where I lost. But I feel like most of the time that I've been really struggling this year, scratching my head of like, I can't really understand this move. They've mostly worked out in my favor, which I think is a good sign.
Yeah.
Is a good sign. Houston, I think this team is very live in the AFC. And I saw some chat about banter about D'Amico Ryans in the chat. And D'Amico Ryans, this guy, there's something about the Texans where they play so conservatively for no reason at points. It just becomes so predictable. And this has been multiple offensive coordinators now, right? Where it's just like, enough with the early down running. At some point, you have to do something different. Kansas City's linebackers play close to the line of scrimmage, and I want to believe in Houston. I think Ryans has the team really well prepped on a weekly basis, but so much of the in-game stuff drives me crazy with this team.
Yeah, he is like the conservatism in their play calling and the play not to lose whenever they have any kind of a lead. And I mean, this isn't a 2 or 3 touchdown lead, and you're also playing the Chiefs. Like, you can't run out the clock
right
with 10 minutes to go in the third quarter up 3. Like, you have to do something. So I think for the Texans to have any kind of like real run, they just have to match up with teams with like terrible defenses that Stroud's going to be able to kind of take advantage of a little bit. Like if they play the Bills as an example, right? Like I could see them being successful there. It's just going to be a matter of matchups, I think, for them.
Yep. Totally agree. Chiefs are really up against it at this point now. They'll take on the Chargers next week. Prior to that, I think the game that interested me the most today was Packers and Bears, Clive.
Yeah.
I mean, Green Bay closed 6.5-point favorites. They survived a real scare from the Bears, but they do cover 28-21. Jordan Love starts the game, takes a brutal sack, throws a bad interception over the middle of the field. Early on, it feels like the door is wide open for the Bears. Problem is, Caleb Williams starts 0 for 7. Chicago can't capitalize. They settle for a field goal while the Packers are hitting explosives all over the field, deep shots to Melton, to Christian Watson. They build up a 10-point lead. From there, 10 points down, the Bears' running game takes over the game. Swift and Monangai are just like pounding it up the middle over and over. They string together multiple long physical drives. They eventually tie it 21-21. Love answers with another explosive for a touchdown. Well, not for a touchdown, down to the 1. Josh Jacob gets in. And then the Bears have that final possession of the game that stalls on 4th and 1, where Caleb throws the interception in the end zone.
He was so late on that. Like
bad underthrow.
Run.
Yeah.
So elusiveness is not effectiveness as a quarterback. Like I get it. I love sack avoidance. I think that's a big indicator of something good, but he misses way too many throws. He misses too many reads. And the Bears offense is living off of Ben Johnson creating good design of run plays. And don't get me wrong, I'm not an expert X's and O run guy, but he has turned this team into something without a threat of a passing game.
Yep. They were running a lot of like inside zone and man concepts, but directly up the middle. And you could see Green Bay's defense is actually getting tired. Like Micah Parsons had to go off the field several times. It's just that thin, cold air. With Caleb, it's really hard with him because he gives you these periods of time where he plays super well. And I thought today, his sack avoidance was great, helped a lot. And his arm is fantastic. He made some throws into super tight windows, like
For the
spots.
Komet, that was amazing.
Unreal. And then you just get the bad Caleb as well. And someone pointed it out in the chat. We got a lot of messages coming in right now, but on that final play, the 4th and 1, he had the receiver open off the line. Like he just waited 2 seconds too long on that play. But he shows you those flashes and you want to believe. It's just the consistency's not there.
Yeah, it's not. And it's frustrating. But hope for a little bit more development throughout the course of the year. I mean, they're a dangerous team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean,
I just think the Packers and the Rams are so far above everybody else. And I don't think Love had a particularly great game. Like he wasn't flawless or anything like that.
Yeah. The Bears are now 9-4 with a -1 point differential so far on the season, which is hilarious whenever I look at it. But I think I think if you're a Bears fan or you're a Bears bettor, you will feel hard done by the final score there. Buffalo Cincy in the early window was a fantastic game. Maybe not so much for me because I hit some under in this game, and there was like almost no actual stops. But I did think at one point that I had a chance to win, and then shit just went off the rails in the fourth quarter. So heavy snow game turned into a track meet. Both quarterbacks played really well, with the exception of a few mistakes by Joe Burrow that changed the game. But he came out carving the Bills defense. It felt like they had every third down they converted. They built a lead with T. Higgins, Mike Gesicki. They kept winning one-on-one. Buffalo looked completely dead when James Cook fumbled inside, I think, on a goal to go. That was like the only time since he could get off the field. But the turning point was like this wild stretch in the fourth quarter. Burrow throws a pick six to Christian Benford. He has another pass batted up in the air and intercepted by a different defensive lineman, AJ Epinesa, sets up a short field for the Bills score. And ultimately, they gave away the game. I'm really struggling with what to make of the Bengals right now since Burrow's come back, because the offense looks good, but they're like, the third down conversion rate is insane through 2 games.
My regret of the week is not, in terms of no bet, was not betting the over in the Bengals-Bills game.
Yeah, in hindsight, I agree.
I mean, we talked about it a little bit on Sunday last week too, and it was just a miss.
You know, I'm watching, so like I'm simming out these games, and my thesis is that this is going to be a heavy running game. Both teams have advantages on the ground. The problem is the Bengals go up big early, and that forces Buffalo out of the handoff to James Cook. And forces Allen to be a drop back passer and then take off with his legs. And it's getting out of hand. I got a friend at the game. He's sending me messages in the second quarter. He's like, we can't see the field right now. It's snowing so hard. I'm like, and then the scoring started slowing down. And it's like, 28-18 at one point midway through the fourth quarter. I'm like, okay, there's a chance here now. And then boom. I mean, against 39-34, just incredible run of points there. So it is what it is. We have the hindsight of
course,
of having seen the game and knowing the result. I bet Ty Johnson anytime touchdown. Jester in the chat, how depressing was Ty Johnson getting tackled by the snow monster? It was depressing. What are you going to do? Such is life. Pittsburgh, Baltimore, AFC North matchup. Baltimore closed 5.5-point favorites. Pittsburgh took game day money today, and their bettors got rewarded. I thought the Ravens kind of moved the ball fine, like okay, but every long march down the field seemed to end in like a field goal. They'd score a touchdown, they miss an extra point. Lamar threw a brutal interception on like this really rollout play where he just like underthrew his receiver. Pittsburgh, these guys must have had it on the bulletin board that people were talking about how they can't generate any big plays, because they came out throwing the ball. Aaron Rodgers hit DK Metcalf down the field. I think that was a missed OPI, but they tried it. There was a big chunk gain to Calvin Austin. There was a screen pass to Jalen Warren, like no one was near him. Another big play to DK Metcalf. I mean, they hit more explosives in this one game than they probably have in the last 2 months. But Baltimore still had a chance. And it came down to the end of the game. Isaiah Likely touchdown, replay overturned it. Then Lamar gets sacked. Like, just another crazy end game. We saw a lot of these crazy end games today.
Yeah. I mean, Lamar still doesn't look right. This was one of the games that we'll recap when we go through what we picked for last week, and this total moved pretty well in our favor, and I think we were wrong.
Yeah, I mean, I will say, we'll do a recap before we get to our picks for next week, and we didn't have a good week. Some of these early totals, there was like kind of a built-in possibility of bad weather in some of these games, like Miami Jets and Baltimore Pittsburgh were about as perfect conditions as you can get for a December home game. And, people were asking me on Pizza Buffet this morning, they're like, oh, you don't like the Baltimore Pittsburgh under anymore? I'm like, well, first of all, it's moved. But second of all, no, like now I have the quote unquote perfect information for this game. I'm where I'm at. The running game numbers are weird for this. Baltimore had 200 plus rushing yards. They had a 55-yard run from Keaton Mitchell, who ended up leaving the game. I never felt like they were moving the ball well on the ground. So I don't know when that was built up, but I was watching a lot of that game and it didn't feel like the running game was particularly dominant.
No, but I mean, their series conversion rate when they're starting with running turned out pretty well, and they did have a pretty good success rate, it seemed like, from that standpoint. I just don't know what I mean, how done is Baltimore now? They're done, right?
Yeah, it feels
minus winning out.
It feels that Baltimore is like they're done until they play a game where Lamar looks like classic Lamar. Because in our heads, we keep thinking that that's going to revert at some point, but it's just not happening right now. The offense is fundamentally broken in some way. The defense isn't even that good. They can't generate much pressure on the quarterback, which is going to be their downfall as well. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't. It's hard to price Baltimore, really.
I would have really liked to have seen a Bengals win today.
Yeah, I mean, especially with them playing this upcoming week again, Cincy, Baltimore would have made things really interesting in the North.
Yeah.
Honestly, of all the teams I'd want to see in the playoffs in the North, it would be the Bengals.
Yeah, I mean, the Steelers are still kind of trash.
Yeah, I don't want to watch a Steelers playoff game. I'll tell you that.
I don't want to watch Aaron Rodgers throwing the ball average 5 yards a throw, pass.
Yeah. Normally, I wouldn't talk about this game as the next one, but I will because of the betting implications of this one.
Because of the implication.
The implication. I feel like you're not getting it back. These women they're not in any danger. In Vegas, Denver controlled this game wire to wire. I know the final score is going to say 24-17. Denver absolutely in control, wire to wire. They got some help from a punt return touchdown from Marvin Mims. That blew the game open. Geno Smith got hurt. Kenny Pickett replaced him. Kenny Pickett finally pushed the ball downfield. I mean, the Raiders were already chasing, but looked much better than Geno. Garbage time, who knows? But the end of this game is going to be talked about forever.
Oh, crash outs all over the place.
Yeah, so this is the second week in a row that I've bet a Raiders under where there's been a late game penalty that wrecked the under. Last week, Max Crosby, for some reason, decided he was just going to lay out Justin Herbert for no reason after the play, killed that under. This one would be so much worse. Now, to paint the picture here, Denver, they just gave up on the game. It was 24-10. They're like, they had a fourth down. They could have kicked a field goal. They opted to just go for it on fourth down. Like, they just gave up on the game. There's Sean Payton's like, game's over. Let's move on with life. The Raiders get the ball. They got no timeouts. They're moving downfield. They complete a pass with 5 seconds left. And one of the Denver receivers is laying down on the Raiders player and punches the ball out of his hands, gets flagged for a delay of game penalty. Okay. Now, I saw Dave Portnoy's rant on this on Twitter today. Going nuts. I've watched enough football in my life to have seen many defensive delay of game penalties. Doesn't happen often, but by definition, that's a delay of game penalty.
Yeah.
But then Pete Carroll sends out the kicking unit down 24-14 in the game. 5 seconds left. He kicks a field goal to make it 24-17. So the Raiders cover the spread and the game goes over the total. And now people are furious.
Just losing their minds.
Someone needs to be held accountable for this loss.
Hashtag FBI. Like,
I'm here to tell you, as someone who bet the under, what do people want the Raiders to do there? Like, if it was me, yeah, but I agree. They could.
But that's what people want. It depends on what side of the bet you're on.
Right. Like, it is, if it was me and Sean Payton had the courtesy to just kind of like run it on 4th down, let's move on with our lot, I probably would have just kneeled out the next possession anyways, if I was Pete Carroll. But I'm not. And he said he's going to bring his kicker out. He's going to kick points. I don't know. He's playing for plus minus. Throwing the ball in the end zone doesn't do anything. If anything, it's more likely one of your players is going to get hurt throwing the ball up on a Hail Mary. Like, what? You're not going to win the game, no matter what. No, if you score a touchdown, if you score a field, the game is done for all intensive purposes. So it sucked because I hate losing games in what I would call stupid ways.
Yeah.
But like, that's it. I mean,
it happens.
If you go and watch that end game, and I don't want to relive it again, but like the fact that one play happened that ended at 2 minutes and 1 second instead of the 2-minute warning, so that Carroll had enough time to call a timeout at 2:01 instead of 2 minutes, sent that whole end game for a tailspin. Anyone who watched it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you watched the show last week, you got the early under 41.5. If you might have played a 41 at some point and got a push, you didn't lose. But unfortunately, I lost half of my bet on that 40.5. So
some people bought the extra half point to get to 41. You know, some of the greatest bettors on earth, they tend to do that.
Well, you do what you've got to do. I mean, it depends on what the price was on it. I don't want to say don't buy points. Like most of the time, don't buy points. But anyways, just one of those games. And I'm sure that'll be a circle back topic tomorrow, 1 p.m. live on the Circles Off channel. If you want to hear us talk through this weekend, that was football. Just some other notes to get to. Jacksonville, Indy. Daniel Jones tears his Achilles. Pretty comfortable wire-to-wire win. I saw Riley Leonard come in relief of Daniel Jones. He made some okay throws. He also threw into coverage a lot. They were constantly chasing the game. I mean, it's just a tough break for the Colts, having traded for Sauce Gardner. The trade deadline is passed. They can't go out and trade for Joe Flacco now. You know, it's Anthony Richardson. I didn't know what Anthony Richardson was on IR for.
I actually don't know what he's on IR for.
Okay, so he broke his orbital bone in a locker room incident, like an accident in the locker room.
That was really early on, no?
Yeah, it was early in the year.
So all right, yeah.
So he wasn't dressed today. He is on IR. They haven't activated his practice window yet. Yeah, it's going to be probably Riley Leonard. Stretch band is the guess in the chat. Resistance bands. Took a resistance band so hard in the eye that it broke a bone.
I guess that happens. Sure.
I mean, it snapped. I mean, talk about a tough break.
I don't mind not seeing him on the field. I'm good with it.
Yeah. I don't need to see any more of that. New Orleans and Tampa Bay, really interesting game, especially from a Survivor perspective. The field is down to 11 in Circa Survivor now, with our boy Flupp is still one of the remaining entrants, going for that 2 times contest win. I think he was on the Rams today. Tampa closed as a pretty substantial favorite in this game. New Orleans took a little bit of game day money. That was one that I agreed with. It's kind of back and forth game. It started raining like really, really hard at one point in this game, where it was crazy to me that the Bucs were just having Baker drop back. You could see the ball was slipping. He ends up throwing a pick like 2 plays later. I'm like, here we go. Beautiful. Tampa Bay. I mean, I never thought I would see this in my entire life. I almost had to do a triple take on the box score. Tampa Bay and Todd Bowles went for it on 4th down 7 times today. They went 2 of 7 on 4th down. That was the difference in the game. And the first couple were there was a weird toss play that the Saints snuffed out. There was another running play up the middle. It did change the complexion of the game. And I wonder if Bowles, going forwards is going to be back to tail between his legs.
He's a terrible coach. Can we be done with him? Like, just in general. I'm not going to say anybody, like, the Bucks deserve to win that game. But, I mean, Baker didn't make an awful throw that Ibuka just dropped in the end zone, who was wide open. He could have made a better throw. I mean, that ties it up there. But what are you going to do?
It was a bad throw, but like Ibuka should have caught that. He had another.
He was all alone. I mean,
yeah. That was a bit of a disaster. But
and letting Shuck run all over you for 2 scrambles for touchdowns is not the best either.
I mean, Shuck's okay. I mean,
as a quarterback, he's fine. Yeah,
you would expect him to be ahead of everyone else. The guy's 25-year-old rookie. He's got a little bit more experience. But I listen. That was one that I was happy to be right on. That was like wire to wire. They were within the number. Didn't really sweat New Orleans at any point. Seattle, Atlanta, really interesting game because it was 6-6 at the half, Clive. Both myself and you bet the under in this game, 44.5. It was 6-6 at the half. Mm-hmm. First play of the second half, Rashid Shaheed returns a 100-yard kick return to the house for a touchdown. And then I swear to God, it felt like every single Atlanta drive afterwards, they just kept turning the ball over and giving Seattle a short field over and over. This one I actually feel like was more painful to me than the Denver Las Vegas one. I was laughing almost when it was happening. Like, I didn't like it, but I was this was just
I mean, Atlanta was absolutely inept offensively.
Yeah.
And for all intents and purposes, I was just hoping the game would just end, and it just never ended so that the game could stay under. It just didn't happen. I felt that way about the Jets game too, by the way, the Jets-Dolphins game once we got into the fourth quarter, Tyrod Taylor, et cetera.
Yep.
I mean, 38% success rate for the Falcons. 58% series conversion rate. Something they were just really, really, really bad. And the Seahawks weren't sharp offensively in the first half, but then it just all unraveled.
Yeah, their defense is really good. It keeps them in games. They're at full health.
Scary team.
Yeah, they are. I mean, no Drake in London for Atlanta. They're lacking a weapon. Nick Emenwari, safety for the Seahawks, who was out earlier in the year. This guy had a hell of a game, man. He blocked a 50-yard field goal. He got such a great jump on the outside. He picked off Kirk Cousins in plus territory. He added like a big sack when he blitzed on a fourth quarter drive as well. I mean, just huge game for him. I just, that under is pure. Again, listen, we didn't get a great number, but man, that felt like shit.
We got another game to talk about. There you go.
Yeah, Tennessee, Cleveland. Cleveland took early money this week. Then it was Tennessee getting steamed. Weird game. Tony Pollard's like ripping off long touchdowns. Shadur Sanders up and down through like I mean, he made an amazing throw to Jerry Jeudy that went for a touchdown, then followed by a brutal interception. I mean, listen, he's a rookie. It's up and down.
He had like 250 yards after the catch, like in terms of like terrible accuracy numbers, terrible, completion percentage. But I mean, he's better than Dylan Gabriel.
He's better than Dylan Gabriel. And also, I'm just going to say, I don't think there's like some sort of, mass conspiracy to keep Shadur Sanders down or anything like that. But they put this guy in terrible spots, man. Like they just kept slamming Judkins into the line over and over on early downs. They can't do anything. Finally the guy does something, and the 2-point conversion late in the game. Okay. They take him off the field and they run this friggin' trick play where Judkins is going to like throw it back across. Absurd. First of all, he's a rookie quarterback. He's in a late game situation where he's brought your team back. Like, let the guy go for two, Let the guy actually go for the 2-point conversion. Like, the game is meaningless. Put him in a pressure spot. See what you got. They run like this insane trick play. Just, the Cleveland coaching staff sometimes infuriates me.
I wonder if any of that was by design, not to keep Shedeur down necessarily, but not necessarily caring about the win.
Yeah, that's a good point. I never thought about it that way. That would be a rational explanation, because what I saw was very irrational.
Yeah.
So you never know. Yeah. I mean, listen, Stefanski is a 2-time coach of the year, right? You can't take that away from him. Sometimes it's very puzzling, some of the decisions he makes. Minnesota, Washington, I don't know if there's a ton to talk about here. Jaden Daniels gets hurt. It's not like he was playing well. I mean, he had a 2.4 ADOT, and his CPOE was negative 17.7, which is like the worst combo possible. Short throws, also inaccurate. So they couldn't generate any offense. They went down the field on their first drive. They stalled at the 2-yard line. Daniels missed a wide open receiver on one of those plays. And then Minnesota went 19 plays, 98 yards the other way, completely over. Now we're going to have the J.J. McCarthy discussion, because he looked very good today, but it was the Commanders' defense. So what do we do?
So I only saw highlights of this game. I mean, it felt like it was out of reach pretty quick, and I was pissed off at Hitman for not taking the stale number in Circa for us this week. So I felt like I had to.
Yep.
It was between them and the Rams, and then this is what I went with. So I was just disgusted. But McCarthy looked fine in some of the plays that I saw. Threw 2 touchdowns to his tight end Oliver, I believe.
Yep.
He's fine. I mean, Justin Jefferson's not going to be happy with him as quarterback, but what are you going to do? I mean, they won a game.
Yep. Their series success rate today was 92.6%. So they got a new set of downs or a touchdown on 25 of 27 real series, which is insanely high. And I didn't see much of this game either. I'd like to watch it back to see how he actually looked and whether or not he had to do much of anything. Andrew Van Ginkel made amazing defensive play in this game as well. But that one got out of hand quick. Miami and the Jets, I mean, it was 21-0 in the first quarter. Tyrod Taylor ends up getting hurt. Like, this game was over so quickly. Like, there was the Jets even got like a punt return touchdown. I think it was a special teams touchdown. And I still didn't think they had any hope of coming back in this game. Brady Cook, poor guy. He's a third stringer, undrafted, got thrown into the fire. Just not really.
Listen, he didn't get any first team reps this week. All right. So I don't think we could judge Brady Cook yet. You got to wait till you get some first team reps in practice.
Well, we'll see. I mean, he threw 3 picks. They went 1 of 12 on third down.
Dershow's right. I mean, that defense, special teams, anytime probably needs to be a bet going forward, because it's just ridiculous. It seems like the only way they're going to score.
Yeah. Final game, I think that we haven't talked about, Rams Cardinals, just another blowout that I guess I laid it with the Rams today, and I bet the over in this game. So I was very happy with the result. Actually, Arizona actually looked good early in this one. They marched down the field on their opening drive for a touchdown. The Rams stalled in the red zone. But like, once LA settled in, holy shit, this offense, man. It is a juggernaut. They did whatever they wanted. Like Puka Nacua, he was open on plays. He made some amazing catches. Kyron Williams is ripping off chunk gains. Blake Corn's ripping off chunk gains. I mean, I think this game was tied 10-10 at one point, and then it eventually became 45-10. Like, the Rams
then they separated.
Yeah. Just
they had an 88% series conversion rate. They were good.
Yeah. I mean, they basically did this on offense last week against Carolina, but the problem is Stafford threw a pick 6 and he threw a pick in the end zone, and that changed things. But this is what happens when they don't have the turnovers. They just
Who do the Rams have this week?
We're going to get into this week's games. Let's just shift gears now. Before we do, of course, we are proudly presented by Fanduel right here on Forward Progress, and the best way to game day is on Fanduel. The Fanduel Sportsbook app is your home for all your favorite NFL bets From yards to touchdowns to who will win with FanDuel, any play can be the play of the game. And when the Eagles and Chargers are playing on Monday Night Football, FanDuel is giving all customers a 30% live profit boost token. So make FanDuel your go-to app for any snap. Eagles, Chargers, 30% live profit boost token. Just visit FanDuel.com/forward-progress. FanDuel.com/forward-progress to enhance your Monday night with a 30% live profit boost token. Play your game with FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Please play responsibly. You must be 21 plus and present in select states. For Kansas, in affiliation with Kansas Star Casino, 18 plus and present in DC, Kentucky, or Wyoming, 19 plus and physically located in Ontario. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit rg-help.com. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut or visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org or call 800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts or call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York. Call Connects Ontario 1-866-531-2600 or visit connectsontario.ca. And this is a paid endorsement. All right. Let's do a quick recap of last week. I actually do want to say a few words before we discuss all of this week's games. But recapping our card, we did not have the greatest week by any stretch of the imagination.
It was rough.
Clive, Miami Jets under for you. I do want to talk about this towards the end here at the end of the recap, but that was a loss for both of us. Could have been worse, honestly. We got cooked on Dallas. Terrible CLV. Houston, we win despite terrible CLV. Pittsburgh, Baltimore under, loss. Seattle, Atlanta under, loss. Denver, Las Vegas under. We win by the hook in that particular game. And we got the Chargers under pending for tomorrow night. So as a whole, combined, when we agree, 24-13 this season, plus 9.5 units, 1.04% no vig CLV. I thought we did a poor job combined last week. The advantage of betting early is getting good numbers. And when I'm looking back at this, I think a lot of this was avoidable. So just lessons learned. We talked Dallas and Detroit. Look ahead on that game was Detroit -6. Ended up reopening at 3. I know in my head that when there's that much of a shift in the numbers and it's not like massively injury related, tends to move back. Houston, we get the win, but we know KC takes a lot of steam in the market. Like maybe not the best to necessarily fade KC in the early going of that. The rest, it is what it is. But on Pizza Buffet this morning, someone was asking me about the Jets and Miami because I end up playing the over in that game at 41, right? And I just want to make it very clear for anyone as we move forward on this show what this is about on Sunday night. I haven't run my numbers on Sunday night, the ones that I'm going to personally be using to bet tomorrow morning and for the rest of the week. Clive, have you?
No.
Okay. So this is just our first thoughts on the games as they stand and where we think the numbers will go and if there's a good bet to make in the early going. But as the week goes on, stuff's going to change, right? And not everything we say at the time of this show is going to be good on Thursday or Friday of the week. And in particular with Miami and the Jets.
Injury report.
Yeah. Tony Adams being out, not the biggest deal on defense for them, but I look at the weather in that particular game and how it became clear. Like one of the big handicaps with that was Tua playing in cold weather with wind and how he's historically really struggled in those conditions. And they just weren't there today. So the things are going to
today.
Yeah, 100%. So I just want to say that for, I'm trying to find people good prices, right? If you tail, I would love to get you good numbers, hopefully winners as well. But the week goes on, new information becomes available. Sometimes the opinion that I first had on the game is not the opinion I'm going to stay with. And I'm changing it because of new data. I'm not changing it because the public is betting one way and the sharps are on the other and this and that, right? It's just how I handicap the game. So I did want to make that explicitly clear before we get into today's games because few people brought it up on Pizza Buffet this morning. All right, let's shift gears Week 15, no more bye weeks. So we got a lot of games to cover. Let's start it off. Thursday Night Football. Our producer, Pascal, says that we got every single game on the board right now at FanDuel, which is beautiful. I love going through that at this moment in time. Tampa Bay hosting the Atlanta Falcons, Thursday Night Football. Current market at FanDuel, Tampa Bay -5.5, -110. This one is at 43.5, juiced towards the over. Of note for this particular game, it is a short week. Drake London has missed the last 3 games for Atlanta. He has not practiced yet for Atlanta. Keep that in mind. They lost Jalen Walker on their defensive line, edge rusher for them today. Rookie's been very good. He left the game very early with a quad injury. Short week, I would not expect Jalen Walker to be playing on Thursday. Mike Evans is back at practice for the Tampa Bay Bucks. 3 times limited last week. Short week, but he could return from a collarbone injury. Tristan Wirfs, the left tackle for the Bucks, missed today. Ben Bredesen, their left guard, left the game. Hassan Reddick on defense, on their defensive line, left the game with an ankle injury. And in the secondary, Tyke Smith, safety for them, who's been really strong this year, suffered like a stinger and left the game as well. So there's a lot of injury information to go through for this particular game, Clive. But I think, potentially a couple different ways of looking at this one.
Okay. I'll say this. Based on everything that I've seen with Atlanta since Kirk Cousins has been their quarterback again, if they can't run the ball effectively and Drake London's not playing, they can barely move the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Tampa's been relatively good against the run, and I don't think this is necessarily a great matchup for the Falcons, but I don't see anything here that I would want to do particularly early either.
Okay. That's a very valid point on the running game. It's hard to parse through all this stuff. I think there's more downside in the Bucks because of what their injury report currently looks like right now. I think that this number is nuts. Like I am not downgrading Atlanta a whole lot for running into the Seahawks defense today. The Bucks defense is very different. They're giving up a lot of stuff. They let Tyler Shuck look great today. I don't know. There's certain teams I'm just consistently off market with, right? Higher or lower. The Bucks 5.5. I just don't see that much of a gap between these two teams. And honestly, Cousins, he was bad today, but he has not been a downgrade to Penix since he's come back. Like his
no, they're both bad.
Yeah. It's not like they've lost a bunch there. If you're just looking at like pure market ratings over the course of the entire year, when has Tampa been priced like this? I mean, even at full health, when they were great in the middle of the year, I mean, you look at how they were rated in market relative to Atlanta with Penix, they would probably be like 3-point favorites regularly. We'll get 5.5 here. I think this is nuts.
I think it's more based on Atlanta just being downgraded so much in the market the last couple of weeks. Now, I would say this, and maybe we should have talked about this a little bit more last week in terms of bet timing. I know it came up in one of the games. This is one of those things, right? Like, I don't think there's any world where this goes to 6 Tampa. So if you like Atlanta, you want to bet them now. So I agree with you from that standpoint 100%.
I mean, it's a bit of asymmetric risk in terms of where the number is, because if you bet plus 5.5, you capture the 5, which, listen, it's not a dead number. Some people tell me, a lot of games lasted 5 last year. There's not really a lot of avenues for a 5, but I'm going to like Atlanta in this game. It's just a matter of when to bet them. I also thought this total was a little bit low. So the rain really suppressed scoring today. I think Tampa could have had way more downfield plays against New Orleans if it wasn't like torrentially down. The field was so bad today. Maybe that's something to consider, honestly. This is the same field they're going to play on in 4 days. They're going to be able to get that field to get, like, there was chunks of grass just missing in that field. It was nuts.
I watched way more of that game than I wanted to. So yes, you are 100% correct on that too. Yeah, this is a tough spot. There's nothing I want to do right now.
Okay. Okay. I like Atlanta. I will bet Atlanta. Even without Drake London, I can just price this without Drake London, and I won't be there. I won't be there. Although there's a potential nightmare scenario of Wirfs is back and London misses. Tristan Wirfs has an oblique injury. Oblique injuries, man, they last. That's the one thing I've learned about oblique injuries. They last.
They suck.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to the rest of the card. Houston's in action at home, taking on Arizona. Early market here. Wow. Texans minus 9.5, minus 0.5. Total is 42.5. I'll go through injuries for every game just so people know. From the Houston side, Woody Marks left the game again and then came back again. He's left every single game he's played in this season. Pretty beat up at this point. That was important because Nick Chubb got hurt as well. So they're kind of thin at running back. Arizona's kind of thin everywhere. And that's the real problem. Marvin Harrison Jr. missed this week with a heel injury. Greg Dortch is on IR. He can't play next week. Trey Benson, I mean, he got active. His practice window got activated like 3 weeks ago, but he hasn't been practicing. Like, I don't even know that he's going to return. They have multiple injuries on the offensive line. They have Walter Nolan out on the defensive line. They basically have injuries at every level. It does feel like a big number with Houston, though. It
does.
When you watch this offense play, this feels quite. Has Houston won a game by double digits? That's my first question for this year. I mean, they won today by double digits. They won 20-10.
Yeah.
And they smoked the Raven. Yeah, they have. They've won lots of games by double digits. I mean, this is just a recency bias for me then with their offense. But they played close against the Colts, close against the Bills, close against the Titans, albeit Davis Mills came from behind to beat the Jags. Davis Mills. All right.
But what's been the highest, this total feels high for me. Like, how many times have they been over 43? Against the Ravens, Seattle.
Yeah.
Jacksonville, that was a very weird game. Even Buffalo was 42. Week before, 36. This is probably where I'll take maybe an Arizona team total under throughout the course of this week.
Arizona's, listen, it's the Rams, Clive, but Arizona's defense gave up 7.9 yards per play, 64% success rate today. The challenge I have with this game is it's like one of those classic games where you have the opposites happening. You got Houston with the stud defense. Their offense is just like very, very average. Arizona's offense is average. Their defense is terrible.
Yeah, that's why I just maybe want the Arizona team total under. This under itself is a little scary.
Yeah. I'm not going to do much with this, but I wouldn't be surprised if Arizona got bad. I think Arizona's going to take money in this game.
Yeah, I feel like that's a lot.
This is like peak pricing on Houston now. Yeah, I don't know that Arizona's going to get my money, but I'm just projecting where this is going to go. And I think, what was the Lookahead was Houston minus 6.5.
Oh,
yeah.
I thought it was 7.5. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So we've moved through 7, 8, and 9 less so, but yeah, I will project Arizona taking money, but nothing that I really necessarily want to do here.
Yeah, this feels like an overcorrection.
Yep. Las Vegas at Philadelphia up next. We'll spend a very short amount of time on this one because the Eagles are playing on Monday Night Football, and we don't know who's going to quarterback the Raiders in this game. Geno Smith hurt his hand. Eagles minus 12.5, minus 110, and total at 38.5. I can't deal with losing another Raiders under on like the last play of the game. I'm not ready for that happening again.
This is such a big number for such a low total.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. I wouldn't lay this price with the Eagles, I'll tell you that. I mean, unless something fundamentally changes with their offense, it's no,
this is just kind of a gross.
It's a gross game.
Yeah.
I would have, I'm just trying to think on an injury front. Eagles missing Lane Johnson and Jalen Carter. Raiders lost a corner today. Caillou Blue Kelly, bad injury. He was on the field for a long time. They had to bring the air cast out. Kenny Pickett could start here. I don't hate Pickett. Geno just eats a bunch of sacks and takes like negative plays. Pickett seems to get it out a little bit.
Yeah, I could see Pickett turning over the ball, leading to points too, though.
Yeah.
He's
Mark
got that
Horn in the chat points out weather. Good call.
That's what I was just checking.
I have so I have this as a risk 1 in terms of impact right now. So 0 is no impact. 1 would be minimal. Looks cold as it stands now. Not supposed to snow till after the game. I mean, that could all change, but I have it as modeled as a risk 1 right now. All right. We spent too much time. We've spent too much time on Eagles Raiders. Eagles play tomorrow. Jags hosting the Jets is our next stop here. Jacksonville minus 11.5 at home. Total in this game is 41.5. From an injury perspective, Jacksonville was without their starting left tackle, Walker Little, today with a concussion. Probably back next week, even though he didn't practice. That would at least be my guess, upwards of 50%. The big news here is going to be who's the quarterback for the Jets, because Tyrod Taylor left with a groin injury. Justin Fields was also inactive today. They lost multiple players on defense. Kind of a messy game. I can't pretend to tell you off the top of my head what a downgrade from Tyrod Taylor to Brady Cook is. I just don't know enough about Brady Cook.
No, neither do I. I think the question I had, though, is for you. Jacksonville's basically been kind of priced as like an average team.
Yep.
They've been doing a little bit better of a job of scoring and converting scoring opportunities to touchdowns. Do you still think you have them at around the league average, or are you upgrading them a little bit? Not because they beat a Daniel Jones-less, mostly Colts team, but just trending upwards? Or
I think it's definitely time to have a conversation about Jacksonville, because they are passing the eye test a lot more since they acquired Jacoby Myers. Myers has been like pretty big for them. If you think about back to the beginning of the year, they had so many drops, right? Like their drop rate was absurdly high. And now that those aren't, now that those aren't happening, they've had multiple games recently where they've blown out other teams, like Colts today. I know they blew out the Chargers. They smoked the Titans last week, which you don't give a ton of credit for, but Trevor Lawrence is playing a lot better.
Yeah, I feel like this is a Jacksonville team total over spot. I think Durso put that in the chat too, but that's kind of what I'm thinking. I also think the number might be fine for Jacksonville too.
Yeah. I mean, listen, this is priced the way it is because there's uncertainty in the game. So I can't say if Tyrod Taylor was playing, I would love this over because the total will be a little bit higher. But if Tyrod Taylor was playing, I probably would be looking to the over in this game. I just am not going to chance it with a groin injury, possible risk of re-aggravation. I don't have a strong feel for this game.
No, it's tough.
Okay. Next stop is at Soldier Field, where the Bears are hosting the Cleveland Browns. Early market at Fanduel is Bears minus 7.5, minus 0.4, total 39.5. I have this as a risk impact of about a 1.5 for next week, purely on cold. This might be around 20 Fahrenheit for the duration of the game. Pretty cold weather. From an injury perspective, both of these teams kind of dealing with a bunch of stuff. Cleveland, David Njoku got hurt today, probably a multi-week injury. Their offensive line is in shambles. They were missing the right guard and right tackle going into today. Their center left the game with a calf injury. So that's 3 offensive linemen to watch. Denzel Ward on the back end. Listen, it's not Denzel Ward from his prime, but a starting corner for them, left with a calf injury. For Chicago, they did not have Rome Odunze in the lineup. He did not practice at all this week. Probably a multi-week injury with the foot. They lost Kyler Gordon. I didn't even mention this in the recap. He was a late scratch. He pulled his groin in warm-up and couldn't play today. So that's of concern. Tyreek Stevenson hasn't been playing for them at corner. Jalen Johnson has been on a snap count, and frankly, since he's returned from injury, he's looked terrible. So you have cluster secondary injuries for the Bears, cluster O-line for the Browns in this game. A lot to unpack there, Clive.
Well, you got two quarterbacks too that love sack avoidance apparently, and like to run around. One, I think this will be a nice Bears teaser leg, but shit. I kind of think this total is high.
Yeah. I don't.
Not a ton, but I do think it's like my initial instinct is leading towards a little bit of under.
So, like, you know,
and this is the lowest number in the market
for next week. It's the lowest one we have.
Yeah.
At 39.5, I don't have a strong thought there. I don't. I know that the Bears want to lean into the run a lot. The Browns defense hasn't traveled as well as they've played at home. That's something as well. I like the look from the standpoint of the Browns offensive line being in shambles. I mean, really what first stood out to me is that I thought this number was slightly too high. But then as I thought about it more, I'm like, do I want to bet Sanders, who holds the ball forever, behind an O-line that is pretty beat up? They probably will get Jack Conklin back from the concussion, but
this number just feels right in terms of like the side.
Yeah. What's the rest of the market at here? Just out of curiosity, flat sevens in most spots.
Flat 7, juice 7s, lightly juice 7.5. So this is kind of on par.
Yeah, I'll just. I don't think that there's. I think that the injury risk on both sides is kind of equal. S. Elliott's asking, do I want Chicago at 7? No, I'm debating whether or not I would want the Browns at 7.5. That's what I'm debating more here.
Yeah, so this I'll think about probably a Browns team total under throughout the course of the week.
Yeah. I mean, we're talking about a Bears team that has, like I said, has a negative scoring margin this year.
Yeah.
The Browns are terrible. I mean, they just lost to the Titans. You don't have to remind me of how bad the Browns are. But directionally, I think that Cleveland's more likely to take money.
And I'll say this too. I mean, Tony Pollard was ripping off chunk plays. I mean, you give Ben Johnson a week to scheme with their running game against that. You can neutralize Garrett a little bit that way.
Yeah, good point. Okay, finally, I don't want to let me list. All the games mean something. Sometimes they mean stuff for draft picks. This one means something for the AFC playoff picture. It is the Patriots coming off of their bye week, hosting the Buffalo Bills. Bills small favorites, -1.5, -0.4 on the road, -116 money line. Total in this game is 49.5. From a weather perspective, this is what I would call a risk one. Cold, but looks like dry, and definitely not looking at anything that would be a classic weather game other than it's going to be about 30 Fahrenheit in this game. Remember, prior to the bye week, New England did have injuries on the offensive line. Their left tackle is on IR, Will Campbell. He cannot be back for this game. Their left guard, Jared Wilson, was dealing with a high ankle injury. He'd be closer to being back. Their nose tackle, Kairos Tonga, had a chest injury and missed. He will almost certainly be back. Buffalo likely gets the right tackle back, Spencer Brown. He missed today. Joey Bosa is definitely one to watch, but he was 3 times DNP. And Joey Bosa and hamstring injuries don't typically go well. Cole Bishop got hurt today for the Bills. He was cramping, but he left and he didn't return. So I got to think that was something more than a cramp, and it was misreported. Cole Bishop's been a really good safety. Here is my dilemma. I will almost certainly make the Patriots a favorite in this game.
I think I would too.
But Buffalo's most recent games, they seem to also be a team that catches money, right? Like they caught money against the Bengals. Not a ton, but they did get bet. They took a ton of money on Thursday Night Football against the Texans. They took money when they hosted the Bucks. That's 3 or 4 weeks in market where Buffalo's caught money. Oh, man.
If there wasn't such offensive line issues on both sides, like I would love to have taken an over in this game if it was normal weather, which we don't know it will be or not. There's a world where I might like the under at some point this week.
Yeah, total wise, I don't feel anything is mispriced here. But that minus 102 on the Patriots is calling my name. I'm not
You think that flips to like minus 120? Like, is that where you think you would have it roughly?
Let's just talk it out here, right?
Yeah.
Patriots have O-line injuries. So I'll call their offense and the Bills' offense a wash, even though I truly don't believe that, because the Patriots have shown the ability to move the ball through the air much more than the Bills have all year. But let's call it a wash. Maybe we can even say that the Bills, if someone wants to push back and be like, well, Josh Allen is that guy, and we don't know Drake May yet, sure, you can push back. The Patriots defense is way better than the Bills. The Bills defense is all sorts of holes. Joey Bosa missed today. Joe Burrow could have made like a fucking latte in the pocket with the amount of time that he had on some of those dropbacks. Like, the Patriots have O-line issues, but the Bills are if Bosa's not at full health, they're not going to exploit that. So I think the wrong team is favored here. I just don't know about market timing necessarily for this game.
Yeah, and I wonder, so like in terms of like the Patriots defense, it feels like they've been okay against the run. Probably maybe a little bit better than okay, but very susceptible to the pass, which is not what the Bills have wanted to do. I just wonder what the Bills' game plan would be here. I do agree with you, though, that I think I would probably make the Bills a small favorite here.
If we just look at the Patriots defense, they'll be without Milton Williams again. Actually, he would technically be eligible to return from IR this week. I don't know that he'll be ready, but technically they could open his practice window. I haven't seen it happen yet. I doubt he'll play, but that's the guy who's missing. For the Bills defense, it's just like it's been a laundry list all year, and that's why they're not playing well. I mean, they've with Bosa out, they're basically down 5 defensive linemen that they started the year with, one of them being Ed Oliver, which was a huge loss for them. They're missing Terrell Bernard at linebacker. He missed the last 2 weeks, still hasn't been practicing. Multiple safety injuries with Taylor Rapp, DeMar Hamlin, Cole Bishop leaving today. And I'll tell you something. There is a non-zero chance that Josh Allen hurt himself today.
Ankle, yeah?
Yes. There's a non-zero chance. He was hobbling around after the game. Some internet sleuths picked out that, this if he's limited or DNP on Wednesday, Patriots are going to catch money anyways. So
yeah. I think maybe just the market hasn't adjusted enough yet on the Pats. I agree with you. I think this is a money line grab. I just don't know if, to your point, does it go kind of the way the Texans game went this week, right? Where the Texans drew some money early and then it bounced all the way back. And then, KC got game day money. I'm not exactly sure.
I think that you could see a wide range of opinions on this game. I do. Calvin and Hobo. I listen, I learned from the best when it comes to potential early injuries. I learned from the best. But yeah, there was something there that was circulating on Twitter earlier today. All right. Patriots. I'm in.
Yeah, I'm into.
Okay.
We're talking money line, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good price. I mean, there's some plus 104 out there. Just actually got taken off the board. We'll see if that reopens. But minus 102, minus 104. I'm good with that. Baltimore, Cincinnati, our next stop. We saw this matchup a couple of weeks back on Thursday Night Football. Last week, I should say. Ravens, minus 2.5 on the road. Total in this game is 51.5. From an injury standpoint, Baltimore is going to get some defensive reinforcements soon. Ardarius Washington at safety got in a full practice on Friday. Tavius Robinson, outside linebacker for them, coming off IR as well. So they're going to get a couple guys back, maybe this week, maybe not. For Cincinnati, I'm not sure Trey Hendrickson is going to play again this year for them, in all honesty. He's just not even practicing anymore. He's been out since week 9. They lost Joseph Asai on the defensive line as well today with a shin injury. You know my opinion on the Bengals defense, but it didn't manifest. It didn't manifest itself when they played the Ravens last time out.
This sucks. I was hoping this number would be lower.
From a total perspective.
Yeah.
I got to tell you, I have zero confidence in my ability just going off the fly here to price this game. Because the Ravens, I don't want to bet. Let's put it that way. I mean, they lost outright to the Steelers at home this week. They're not a good football team right now. The Bengals are just like so reliant on third downs, right? Like, what did they were 10 of 12 on third down today. It's getting borderline absurd. Let me go back to last week and check really quickly what it was against Baltimore in that game. But like at some point, the third down conversions are just getting nuts. 8 of 19 the week before. Okay, not crazy. But
if
still.
I'm looking at this number and I'm looking at, like market ratings, it doesn't look like the Ravens have been downgraded at all.
Mm-hmm.
And the Bengals certainly not upgraded. This feels weird to me.
This is a risk level 2. This is like a real weather potential game. Although depends on how you want to look at it. There's some snow, like precipitation leading up to the game, but not during. Very cold, mid-20s temperatures, little bit of wind as well. I just don't know that it's going to make a difference for Bengals games, honestly.
Yeah.
Good question from Vakarab Havana. Sorry if I pronounced that incorrectly. What's the max risk level? 0 through 3 is the way that I do it. 0 being nothing, 3 being extreme. Yeah. I wish I could give more on this game, but I can't. I really am struggling to price the Bengals. Actually, I was just right on market with them this week, but just off the top of my head, I don't know what to do here. So
What are you thinking?
No, I'm just thinking like Cincy 3 is kind of going to be like an auto buy, no?
Yes.
So it can't really get out to 3. I mean, maybe it can.
I mean, it could. It's an auto buy at 3 for me.
All right. Seems like
I think I might like the Bengals at 2.5 this week too.
Okay. Good to know. Chiefs and Chargers up next.
Is this up? Oh, it is.
It is. Chiefs -4.5, -110. Total 43.5, juiced towards the over. Kansas City, Missouri temperature, 35 degrees at the time of the game next week. Tiny general cold, but not too concerning there. What would be concerning for the Chiefs would definitely be the state of their offensive line, considering Josh Simmons cannot return at left tackle. Trey Smith and Jawan Taylor, I believe, were 3 times DNP. They didn't practice this week. Morris's injury at left tackle today was a very bad knee injury. He's definitely out. They lost Trent McDuffie to a knee injury in their secondary. What? I mean, I don't like betting these games before we see like stuff could go wrong for the Charger. Justin Herbert is on a hand injury. He could get hurt tomorrow night again.
Yeah, that's kind of the problem.
If that game plays clean, how are the Chargers 4.5-point dogs in this game?
It feels ridiculous. G-Stack, Andy Reid said hyperextension for McDuffie post-game.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I mean, their defense played lights out tonight. For the most part this year, it hasn't been great. It's no longer like a primetime game for them. Huge home field advantage. I mean, unless it is still a dome team coming into an outdoor facility. But like, I mean, how is Kansas City going to possibly catch money again next week with like 4 offensive linemen out? As bad as the Chargers O-line is, Kansas City's, the state of theirs is so much worse. I don't know how this is in a buy on the Chargers.
Yeah, same. And here's when I watched the game tonight, in the second half, Spags just threw a lot of pressure at Stroud. And Stroud was not making, I thought, particularly good reads, good throws. If he goes with that same game plan with the weakened offensive line of the Chargers, which he might, Justin Herbert's better than Stroud by a lot.
Yeah.
I think Herbert can manage that a little bit more effectively. I think this is probably a buy on the Chargers right now.
I have nothing in play tomorrow night for Chargers Eagles, outside of a little bit on the under in that game. But from a side perspective, I wouldn't mind if the Chargers lost by 14, but they got out of that game healthy. That would be a good outcome for me.
Fair.
That would be a good outcome for me. I'm so hesitant now with Kansas City. Like I'm not pricing them the same way that they've been priced. Let's put it that way.
Neither am I. I mean, we talked about it last week, but the market is obviously thinking something much different.
Yeah. All right, we'll go to the NFC East. It's the Giants returning off a bye week. They're hosting the Washington Commanders. Early market at Fanduel here is Giants -2.5, -110. Total in the game, 46.5, juiced towards the under. Looking at East Rutherford for next week. Risk 1, near freezing, but dry. Doesn't look like too much wind in the forecast. Basically looking at something between 30 and 35 Fahrenheit for this game. Very likely will be a Marcus Mariota game. Jaden Daniels threw an interception to Van Ginkel, and running it down, he got hit, landed on his arm today, and it's the same elbow that he was injured with previously. Zach Ertz tore his ACL. He's out for the season. That was a pretty devastating injury for them, just from like a morale standpoint. He was crying. It was tough to watch. For the Giants, the big one to watch would be Kayvon Thibodeau. He's been out since week 11, had not practiced for 3 straight weeks with a shoulder injury. So we'll see if he practices this week. That would be an upgrade to the defense.
The Giants are favorites. I just have a hard time buying that.
Yeah.
I get it. I just instinctively.
I don't mind it. Like I know if I was probably sending out an opener for this game, I'd probably send Giants -1.5. Instead of 2. But that doesn't. I'm not running, going out of my way right now to bet the Giants. So,
what do you think on the total here?
I am going to like the over in this game.
Mm-hmm.
The Commanders' defense just made J.J. McCarthy look like the second coming of Joe Montana today. Their defense sucks. They can't get off the field. The Giants' defense is way overrated. Their secondary is bad. I prefer Mariota for totals because he stretches it more than Daniel's ADOT is just super low relative to Mariota. Washington's got all the receivers back and healthy, ready to go. They've been ramping up McLaurin's snaps.
I think this is an over now.
I agree. FanDuel's got the best price here, 46.5 -05, but it's better than a 46 -110. But anything sub 47, I think I'm good with on the over. Again, I don't see weather concerns. I hate playing these Northeast games early because a lot can switch on a dime, but even the day before and day after don't look bad.
No, I think it's just going to be cold around here.
Yeah. Listen, cold sucks, but you can play through cold. Green Bay, Chicago played through cold, like way more extreme cold than that today. Still went over the total.
Yeah.
All right. We're in agreement on this one. Washington, New York Giants over. Indianapolis at Seattle up next. Just for comparison purposes, the advanced line in this game, not a huge liquid market, but worth noting, was Seattle -3.5. The market now stands at Seattle -10.5. The total in the game, 43.5. Now, obviously, the big one here is that it's likely Riley Leonard who is starting for the Colts. I believe he was drafted in the 6th round. I've seen some of Riley Leonard play at Notre Dame. I think he's fine, but just for, transparency purposes, he's a 6th rounder going up against the Seahawks defense. Their right tackle, Braden Smith, left today with a concussion to the Colts. Sauce Gardner was out and he hasn't practiced this week with the calf strain. So be surprised if he comes back. For Seattle, the only notable injury was their backup tight end, Elijah Arroyo. Big guy, hurt his knee, tried to come back, left again. What happened when Seattle played Max Brosmer with Minnesota? Like from a market perspective, Seattle took a bunch of early money, correct? And then a little bit of late money came in on Minnesota.
I think so. Let me look.
Because I feel like we talked about that game, and then I woke up the next morning and it was 2 points higher on the Seahawks.
Yeah, it ended up being 26-0 game, and let's see, closed at 12.5 mostly, and yeah, it was like 8.5, 9.5, and then it jumped up pretty quickly.
All right, chat's confirming that as well. So, from my perspective, right, this has got to be playing at Seattle or at Houston right now has got to be the worst case scenario for a rookie quarterback, inexperienced quarterback. Now, I thought Leonard was okay. He's definitely a better quarterback than Brosmer, I would say. But man, there's just very limited paths to success for the Colts. They're not even really running the ball well anymore. Like, the Seahawks defense is outscoring teams at points right now. Like, how is this number not a bit short?
Yeah, and here's the thing too, right? Like when you had the threat of Daniel Jones who could move the ball down the field, that does open up the running game a little bit. Like you're not going to have that here. Like you can literally just key in on the running game if you're Seattle and force Riley Leonard to beat you before you adjust.
The only thing I'll say to that, Clive, is I will say that Seattle is a team that is kind of stubborn in the sense that they will play light boxes, and I can see a path where the Colts are maybe able to run the ball, but like I look at the market for Seattle, right? They all Atlanta money against Seattle today. If we look at late week money when they hosted Minnesota 2 weeks ago, it was all Minnesota money. Seahawks Titans, I don't quite remember what happened there. The week before against the Rams, it was all Rams money. There is consistent money flooding in against Seattle on a weekly basis, right? So I think I will end up running I'm going to have to guess at what Leonard is. I just don't see a scenario. Titans took money. So that's 4 weeks in a row that Seattle's been opposed in market. Is that a team you want to bet early? And like this is a big, there's going to be a lot of people who are like, this game was 3.5 last week.
True.
Now we're up to 10.5. So we've gone through 6, we've gone through 7, we've gone through 10. It's a really massive adjustment, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I still like Seattle.
Well, same. I think this might be a game where I end up going like Seattle team total or maybe Seattle alt lines, something along that kind of thought process. This is not going to be an easy first start for a 6th round rookie quarterback.
Yep. I'm going to have to give Brad Powers a call tomorrow morning, a big Notre Dame fan, and see what his thoughts are on Leonard. Because listen, at the end of the day, I'm my area of expertise is not with these. Somebody just said it immediately in the chat right afterwards. May have to consult Powers on Leonard. If anyone else knows anything about Leonard or has a strong opinion, I'd be interested to know. I just am handicapping this from the point of view that he's a backup 6th rounder going up against Seattle's defense. And unless he was drafted 4 or 5 rounds too late, which I don't think he was, this is probably going to be a nightmare start. Yeah. I watched him play today, and it looked okay at first. I think Suuma messaged me, and he's like, Riley Leonard showing me some things. But by the end of the game, I'm like, oh, man, he cannot throw on this defense.
It's going to be troublesome.
Okay. Keep it moving along. Interesting game here with the Broncos hosting the Green Bay Packers. Current market at Fanduel, Broncos home dogs here. They're getting 2.5 minus 115. Total in the game is 41.5. Both teams are most injured on the defensive line. DJ Jones, the nose tackle for the Broncos, didn't play today, and he didn't practice all week with an ankle injury, so potentially down again. Lucas Van Ness still out for the Packers. I'm not sure he's going to be back anytime soon. Brenton Cox has been activated off of IR. There's a chance they would get him back, but remember, they lost Devontae Wyatt for the season with a leg injury. So that's where kind of the injuries are coming from in this game.
From a market rating perspective, doesn't this seem like a big number for Green Bay to play it on the road?
So I'm glad you said that because I'm not a Broncos guy at all. I'm trying to think of when the last time I bet the Broncos. I was not expecting this, at least. I don't know what I was expecting, but
I was thinking more like maybe 1.5.
Yeah.
Green Bay.
Yeah, that's kind of same thing. I mean, it's not a huge edge at 2.5, unless you're a big believer that the 2 is such a crucial number, even though like it's not. But that's kind of where I'm at. I listen, I don't think anything is egregious here. I don't think anything is egregious in terms of pricing. I could also see this being a sneaky over.
Yeah, I could see that too. It looks like there's some 2s. There's a wide range of numbers out there.
Yeah. Yeah. I would love for this to tick down a little bit. Let me check the weather in Denver really quickly for next week. Is this right? Is this a real weather report? This is like the most ridiculously nice mid-December Denver day.
Really?
60 Fahrenheit?
What? Denver?
Yeah, Rudy
Colorado?
said Rudy said it. It's nice here next week. I live here. Yeah, I'm looking at it's 60 Fahrenheit throughout the game. No weather risk.
You assholes. You know how cold it's going to be in New Jersey?
That's beautiful.
Fuckers.
Beautiful. Love that.
I play golf in that.
So first and foremost, I actually don't think Denver's defense is as good as people hype it out to be. Because when you look at Houston and Seattle, like the true elite defenses, they don't really have a weakness. Denver has Riley Moss starting on one side of the field that teams attack pretty regularly.
Mm-hmm.
Both of these teams, I don't like them on a down-to-down basis, but they're both very capable of generating explosives. We saw that with the Packers today against the Bears. It's the same thing with Bo Nix. They will take their shots. I think I like the over in this game. I do.
It's too early for me to say that.
All right. I might be on a lonely island here. 2 offensive-minded head coaches. I'm going to just talk myself into it more and more. I'm surprised to see this at 41.5. I mean, Knicks might be in hell. Knicks is in hell every week. I mean, it's.
So what's the implied here? The implication. 22-19?
Mm-hmm.
How many times has Denver scored 22 this season?
I wish, man, my memory is gone. I gotta take some products that help with memory, hair growth, and memory. If I could get that in one pill, I'm in.
You know what I've started doing? Taking NeuroGum.
Yeah,
it's not bad.
Yeah,
I like it better than coffee.
Yeah,
no jitters. All right, hold on. I'm looking for this because I'm curious.
Okay, so I'll say to the Broncos Raiders game today. I'm so depressed. I lost that total. I 100% nailed everything about the Broncos in that game. Sean Payton, when they're playing like a lesser inferior opponent and he knows that their offense can't do anything, they just go like full cuck to the Broncos. That's basically what they did in this game. This is like the Broncos playbook that's coming out here. Real Broncos playbook.
They scored 44 against Dallas, 33 against the Giants in a big comeback after they shit the bed for the first 3 quarters.
Yeah.
And then 28 against the Bengals, 28 on the road at Indy, and 27 in OT against the Commanders last week.
Listen, I got to tell you, on a down-to-down basis, this game is going to look ugly.
Yeah, but
It is.
explosives.
But it's teams that can generate and take shots.
Yeah.
Anyways, if you're not into it, you're not into it. I see a lot of people in the chat are not into it. Totally fine. You don't have to.
Not saying I won't be into it later in the week, but right now I don't.
Yeah,
I'm not there.
Okay. Carolina, New Orleans up next. Big game in the NFC South. Carolina very live for the division. As it stands right now, they open 2.5-point favorites on the road, 2.5 minus 115. Total in the game is 39.5. I was about to look at weather. I mean, the game's in a dome. I don't really need to look at the weather for that game. For New Orleans, no new injuries today. So that was good. They're still without the right tackle, Tylese Fuaga. Safety Justin Reed missed today as well. For Carolina, they went into the bye week without their center, Cade Mays. They without J.C. Horn, who had a concussion, and Christian Roseboom at linebacker, who had multiple injuries. You would think at least J.C. Horn is back from his concussion with an extra week. Cade Mays and Christian Roseboom, I would say both are probably greater than 50%. So the bye week comes at a decent time. Early Bird Capper says no Kamara. I didn't mention Kamara because I think his backup might actually be better than him.
I just put Chad. He's kind of off.
Yeah. I hate to do this, Clive, to our guy Eager. I kind of want to bet the Saints again today on this game.
I thought you were going to say that. I kind of want to bet the over.
Yeah. I don't have a strong opinion there.
First game was 7-17. That was a weird game.
Oh, I remember that game. Saints won that on the road. And that was Shuck and Bryce Young as well.
Yes. Weird game.
I think Carolina's a little bit overpriced in market. I do.
Oh, I do too for a road game. Like I don't think this gets to 3, so I think I don't think this gets to 3.
I'm just checking the rest of the market right now to see what other prices we got out there. That plus 124 here at Fanduel is definitely calling my name on New Orleans. It is.
Yeah, this is an excessive price on Carolina.
Yeah. I don't know that I'm gonna go. I would go out and take the 2.5 right away because again, with the way that this is shaded, especially at one of the sharp books, you never know if a 3 will pop. But plus 124 money line, some 125, 126 out there. I like the Saints a little bit again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, I'm looking at some of these old games. Like maybe this is priced right from a total perspective. I'm rethinking that.
Yeah. I'll just say this to Rudy in the chat. Like public money is not going to do anything to these early prices. Everyone's profiled, right? So in order for them to move early, it's going to be off of a better that wins. So the public money is not really going to mean anything here. Yeah, I feel so conflicted on these games now because the Panthers are like my second team, you know?
Yeah. There was a little part of me that was like, all right, you lost Survivor. But this was good for the Panthers.
Yeah.
Tampa losing.
George says, for a guy that doesn't like the Saints, Rob bets them a lot. I think they're probably up there with the most of any team I bet this year. I don't want to filter that through that right now because then I'll see stuff like I bet the Saints getting 3.5 against the Patriots and I'll want to off myself for ever having made that bet. But I do bet the Saints a lot. I mean, listen, I did say that I thought Chuck, after seeing him play, was going to be a big upgrade over Rattler. I think that's come to fruition, right?
Definitely much higher upside. I don't want to bet against the Eagles.
Okay. It's your prerogative. You don't have to do that. You don't have to. All right. Here's a banger. Rams hosting the Lions at SoFi Stadium. Early market here. Rams minus 5.5, minus 0.5. Total in the game is 53.5. Of note for the Rams, no new injuries today. Darius Williams is one to monitor at corner. I didn't see if they put him on IR or not, but they're dealing with some corner injuries right now. Detroit gets extra rest coming back into this game. Unfortunately, they lose Brian Branch for the year with an Achilles injury. Kirby Joseph still not practicing. He's been out with a knee injury since week 7. Thomas Harper, backup safety, left with a concussion. So lots of issues at safety for the Lions. Jamil in the chat says, this side has been moving back and forth all evening. I saw right before we went to air that it was 4.5. I'm just checking across the board here. Wow. Those are all gone.
There's one book at 6. Unless that's unless I'm missing something.
No, it's up there. The Lions took a lot of money on Thursday. Advanced number in this game was 4.5. I mean, this is one of those games that I'm conflicted on because I kind of already know from my own modeling that I'm going to probably like the Rams in this game.
Mm-hmm.
But I do see that I think at 6, the Lions would draw a lot of support at that number.
Yeah. And while I think I might have interest this week in the over, it's not because I think this number is going to move a ton to the point where, 53.5 is such a valuable number. I just think I'm going to have a number that's going to be in range to bet the over. Is this the highest total in the market?
It is. I mean, these high totals have been it's unusual this year, but they've been getting bet up.
Yeah.
And like what you look at where the injuries lie in this game, it's corner for the Rams. It's the entire secondary for the Lions.
Yeah.
I have strong leans to Rams in the over, but I definitely don't think the Rams is a great buy right now. I could see myself getting opposed on that. The total at 53.5. I mean, I feel like this is going to hit 54. It's indoors.
I mean, I think it may.
Yeah.
I think some Rams team total again. Like I know I've been kind of hammering them for the most part, but with all the defensive secondary Lions issues, this could be a problem. This could be a real fun game to watch.
The Rams are going to have like a 60% success rate in this game. And, Rudy says, I could see the Rams putting Goff in a pretzel. Yeah, they could, but probably will still perform better with that offense. Amon-Ra St. Brown, another week to heal that injured ankle. And yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Over.
I'm looking forward to watching this game.
I'd love to see the Rams just annihilate the Lions. Lions are dead to me now after beating the Cowboys last week. Don't want anything to do with that team.
That's fair.
49ers and Titans. Early market at Fanduel. San Fran minus 13.5, minus 102. Total in the game, 43.5. Juiced towards the over. For Tennessee, nothing new. Monitor the status of their center, Lloyd Cushenberry. He's missed 2 weeks in a row with a foot injury. Got a limited practice in, though, on Friday, so there's a chance he will play. San Fran, they get the bye week. Tatum Bethune could be back at linebacker for them. I mean, the problem is their front seven is still kind of a mess because it's just a lot of players that are on IR. So it's not like they get a ton of reinforcements. Like Nick Bosa can't come back. Fred Warner can't come back. Yetur Gross-Matos maybe, but I haven't seen them activate their practice window. Mikael Williams, ACL. So I think their front seven is bad. This is a kind of a big number for the 49ers, is it not?
It is. It is.
Like they're going to score. The 49ers are going to score. So my leans were to, when I saw these numbers, the over stood out to me right away. I just clicked the bet history or the line history on BetStamp Pro though. Some spots open 44.5, and this has gotten bet down under. I view this as a game where the Niners are going to have a lot of success moving the ball. And the Titans offense, I mean, I said this 2 weeks ago when they couldn't move the ball on Jacksonville, but
Did Cam Ward show you something this week?
It does feel like they're better offensively than they were, 6 to 8 weeks ago, right?
Yes. This is just the spots where I have a lot of confidence in one team doing their part for an over. I'm just not so sure on the Tennessee side. But I could also, in all fairness, see San Francisco putting up 35, and you don't really need much from the Titans in that scenario.
Yeah. Tennessee's
this might be light for the over. I agree. I just don't know where it closes. Like, meaning how much value there is in betting it right now.
I just wouldn't want to lose the 43.5.
No, I agree. This is me just thinking out loud. Is this the best 43 in the market, or 43.5 rather?
No, there's some minus 110 out there, minus 109 as well. So it's not the best, but most, there are some 44s. There's 144 at a sharp book. I feel strongly the Titans are going to catch money in this game. I feel
strongly about that too. Yeah, I agree.
It's a big number for the Niners. Weather-wise, let's take a quick look. Thank you for the reminder. I was been going through some indoor games and completely forgot about that there. 0. Perfect West Coast football weather. 65 and sunny in the local game window.
Yeah, this isn't over.
Yeah, I'm with you. I would rather bite on the over than the Titans.
Yes.
And if I get burned and San Fran wins the game, 30-3, then so be it. It's certainly within the realm of possibility that they can do that. But
I would not be surprised if this gets to like 44.5, 45. Like, I would not be surprised if it gets to 45.
Yeah, it wasn't a great offensive performance from the Titans today. I mean, they only had a 35% success rate.
No, it was explosives by Pollard, which feels like an oxymoron.
I know. The chat is a big fan of the weather risk system. Yeah. Smash that like button if you like the weather risk system. I'll bring it out on a weekly basis.
3s in the chat for the really, really strong episodes.
Yeah. All right. 2 more games on the board. Sunday night football.
Jesus. Wow. The board's lighting up.
Lighting up on this game?
No, the last one. We're at 44.5 almost everywhere now.
Yeah.
Not almost everywhere. Most.
Well, that's the one, man. That's it, man. We say sometimes the people listen. And sometimes the market just bets right back against us, like the Texans.
This was a rough week for us in that respect.
Yep. Was not a fan of that. Cowboys hosting the Vikings on Sunday Night Football. Cowboys will be on extra rest here, having played on Thursday. They open minus 6.5, minus 04 at Fanduel. 47.5 is the total. Okay. Injury-wise, Minnesota, nothing new today. Dallas, CeeDee Lamb got concussed. I am thinking because he has the extra time that he's more likely to clear than to miss. Trayvon Diggs' practice window has been opened at cornerback. He had a bad concussion as well. Could potentially be back. Jadeveon Clowney could be back on defense. They really missed him on Thursday. I don't know about their left tackle, Tyler Guyton, but it could be some positive upside for Dallas. I'm struggling with this one, Clive, because the honest truth is I did want to bet Dallas in this game, but then I've seen this number and I don't really want to bet Dallas at this number.
And I am struggling to price the Vikings.
Yeah. What do we make of one great JJ McCarthy game against the
Commanders?
And what is the Dallas defense even right now as well? They looked really good, and then all of a sudden they played Detroit and they couldn't get off the field.
Yeah, this is, and I don't have enough confidence in the total either. I would like to, intuitively, I have interest in the over, but I got to dig a little bit more into this game.
Yeah. Of note,
Sorry, chat.
the advanced line here was 7.5. So we've gone through 7 on reopen. Obviously, Dallas has to get adjusted down. Minnesota's got to get adjusted up. But with that said, there are some 5.5s Dallas out there right now. That's a little bit more realistic. Just a couple. Both sharp shops. I don't have a great feel for this. I
don't either.
Yeah. I was hoping that the odds would pop up on screen. I'd see something that would pop and be like, Cowboys look good. And no, I'm not there. Final game is Monday Night Football. What a beauty for me on the live watch along next week. Privilege. The Steelers hosting the Dolphins. Pittsburgh -3.5, -110. Total in the game, 43.5, juiced towards the under. We do have to check the weather here because we got the Tua cold trends. And this one is cold. We'll call this a 1.5 risk. Cold with potential late flurries in this game as well, although it doesn't look like the winds are too bad. This one is a weird one. Devon Achane got hurt today.
McDaniel said he could have came back though, and they just kept him out because of
correct.
Yeah,
it was like a rib injury. It was a weird one. Tyrell Dodson, their middle linebacker, left with a hamstring injury. Pittsburgh, Darnell Washington, big boy, got concussed today, left the game. The left tackle starting in place of Broderick Jones is Andrus Peat. He also left the game with a concussion. Also, Malik Harrison at middle linebacker left the game with a concussion when he tried to tackle Derrick Henry and he just got steamrolled. Derek Harmon didn't play on defense. Kyle Duggar didn't play on defense. I really want to bet Miami in this game.
I want to bet who has the lower A dot. Is it going to be Rodgers or is it going to be Tua this game?
You know what? I should contact Fanduel and see if they could get a market up on A dot for both quarterbacks.
That'd be awesome.
That would be the next level of electric betting. When you can start betting on A dots. Miami is playing we don't learn anything from Miami today because the game got so out of hand so quickly.
They're beating the teams they're supposed to.
Yeah, they're playing well. I'm trying to remember the last bad game the Dolphins played. I mean, they let the Saints back into it last week, but they dominated that.
They got hammered by the Ravens. Yeah, that was the game. But they beat on the Bills. They snuck by the Commanders. That was overseas. Beat the Saints. Should the Steelers really be laying 3.5 here?
I'm looking at market ratings over the course of the year. So if you price these two teams in every individual week of the season, what would the price have been? And with the exception, week 1 would have been Pittsburgh -3.3. Every single other week of the season, including today, Pittsburgh would be priced higher than this. So the market is correcting on the Dolphins, I think. And I got to tell you, Clive, 4 weeks ago, I had a dream about Dolphins. They haven't lost a game since. Maybe it wasn't just the Bills. Maybe it was a sign of we just need to keep rolling over moneyline parlays on the Dolphins here.
I think it was a missed opportunity for sure. Yeah, my dream of Denver winning 12-10 did not come to fruition.
We got the Tua versus a playoff team trend brought up in the chat. I will say this. Generally, when you're talking about playoff teams, you're talking about teams that are good. That's the whole thing with the playoff team. Where is Pittsburgh ranked in market? 20th?
Yes.
They're
below about
average.
Even with Cincy. Yeah. But then they are the absolute bottom of that second, third. And then there's a big drop off.
Mm-hmm. See, I would ask G-Stack for his opinion, an honest opinion on this game, but there's no way he's not going to he hates the Steelers and he loves the Dolphins. So that's where we're at.
G-Stack, what do you think of the total? Because this is the highest number in market.
This is the highest number at FanDuel?
Yeah.
It does feel a bit high, right?
Yeah.
For like what
these two teams are and how, yeah.
It's not egregious in my opinion, but
I just don't expect the explosives to like get to this number. I'm not saying it can't happen, obviously, but this just feels excessively high.
Yeah.
Or let me rephrase. It's not that it's excessively high. I don't understand it being this high relative to the absolute complete rest of the market.
Got it. So that click on FanDuel will be a good one. Jamil says, is the cold weather thing signal though with Tua? I think it's more so wind with Tua. Because he's a weak arm quarterback. The cold makes it generally harder to throw as well.
He's not somebody who has a great deep ball anyway. Like
exactly.
Trips the field.
Just a lot of stuff going on there. All right. Well, that's going to do it for our show. We've covered every single game on the board next week. We do a full recap in the Monday newsletter that goes out here on the Hammer. You can head over to hammer.bet. Check out our newsletter as well. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. G-Stack puts it all together. There's going to be Suma's takeaways in that tomorrow morning as well. Moretto's writing up a hockey Q&A, which I actually read earlier today. That was interesting. That'll be in there as well. Of course, content on Mondays here on the Hammer Betting Network. We're jammed. Noon Eastern time, Takes by Jay, hosts Hammer Daily over on the Hammer HQ. It's a really solid show, honestly. You might not like Takes by Jay in his fine form on the watch-alongs. I know he's very hit or miss for some people, but I think his show's fantastic. And
he's been doing a great job.
Oh, yeah. Really funny. His arguments with Kirk Evans last week about the Heisman stuff were fantastic. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot of conversation about that this week. So you can check that out. That's noon Eastern time. I'm live tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern over on Circles Off. We do Circle Back. It is a week in review of gambling Twitter. And there's a lot of stuff to talk about. So tune into that 1 p.m. Eastern time live. Of course, I will be back for a live watch along tomorrow night right here on Forward Progress, Monday Night Football. If you want to catch Eagles and Chargers with me, set notifications. Join me here on Forward Progress as I navigate my way through that game. Appreciate everyone joining. For myself, for my co-host Clive, for our producer, Caustic Arrow, Pascal Prince. Behind the scenes, this has been another Forward Progress. I was going to say live watch along. It's been the Sunday reset on Forward Progress presented by FanDuel. Peace out, everyone.